What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Last night was one hell of a fight. An amazing fight that I really didn't see coming. And I really didn't see it coming because I had no idea what Brian Castano was made of. Only things I heard was that he beat a lot of notable fighters in the amateur ranks and that he was a high volume puncher. So when I heard he was a high volume puncher, a guy that throws punches in barrages, I said, you know what? This might be some action. This is going to probably be some action. If he can crack, if he can hurt Charlo, this is going to be extremely interesting. But I really still didn't have any idea of what Castano was made of. Now, I knew a lot about Jermell Charlo because I'm a Jermell Charlo fan. Jermell had a lot of great wins en route to this undisputed fight, including avenging his loss against Tony Harrison by TKO and then stopping Jason Rosario, or Jason Rosario, however you want to pronounce it, with the jab to the body. So I'm like, okay, Jermell is really doing something great. He's en route to doing something historic. Let's see if he can get the job done tonight, right? So I'm watching this fight, y'all, and I'm going to say in my honest opinion, Jermell Charlo did enough to get a draw, not a win. He did not do enough to get a win. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, first of all, even his own trainer, Derek James, who I'm a huge fan of, he's a great trainer in my opinion, Derek James even told him, hey, listen, you got to get the knockout. You got to get the knockout. He's telling them, if you want to win this fight, you have to get the knockout. Because Brian Castano was tough as nails. And he was on Jermell Charlo the whole night. Majority of the whole night. You know what I'm saying? Majority of the whole night. Because Jermell Charlo had him hurt at several times in the fight. And that's what pissed me off. Jermell had him hurt. But I felt like even when he had him hurt, he went and reverted back to boxing. Like, Jermell, what you doing, bro? You got him hurt. Get him out of there. Jump on his ass and hurry up and get this dude up out of here, because you see this dude gave him fits, gave him problems. To me, the Argentinian, he fights not exactly similar, but he reminds me of a Marcos Maidana type of style. The dude throws a barrage of punches, smothers you with those punches. Even though he doesn't throw looping punches like Maidana, he's a great fighter, and he's going to give all that he got. You're going to get all the he has a high work rate. So you're going to experience that, and you're going to see that all the while, right? Those last few rounds, I feel like Jermell did enough to secure a draw. But I'm going to say this. That 111-117 scorecard was criminal. Like, I'm a big fan of Jermell Charlo. But ain't no way in hell, on the hottest day in Las Vegas, that Jermell Charlo had won that fight 117 to 111. There's no way on God's green earth you saw that fight like that. Not at all, right? To me, Jermell left too many rounds to be given away last night. And it was evident, right? I'm going to give Castano his credit. He was tough as hell. Jermell was hitting him with some tough shots, and he would not go down. The man refused to go down, and he couldn't get dropped. And I'm like, at the end of the rounds, when it came to the later rounds, and Jermell started adding up those rounds at the end of the fight, I said Jermell's going to have to at least get a knockdown or two to secure the victory. If he don't stop him, he's going to have to get a knockdown or two to edge the scorecards in his favor to have him winning the fight, not having it tied up, right? But unfortunately, Jermell wasn't able to do that. Castano stood his ground. He fought back. He fought back strong. And even when he was hurt, he seemed to recover. You know, like the next round, he would recover, right? But there was times where he was hurt for real, and I felt like Jermell took his foot off the gas. And I'm like, hold on now. Don't turn into Adrian Broner. You gotta press the gas. You know what I'm saying? You gotta press the action and get this dude up out of here. I feel like he got him hurt and then tried to go back to boxing and stop throwing his punches. No, Jermell. Once you gotta do her like that, you gotta go for the gusto. Like I said, Castano throws a barrage of punches, especially when he had Jermell on the ropes. And Derek James even made him aware of it. Yo, why you when you get on the ropes? That's when he getting off on you. That's when he teeing off on you. And he even hit Jermell with some shots that buckled Jermell's knees at times. So I'm like, Jermell, get off of the ropes, yo. Get off of the ropes. But I felt like Jermell gave rounds away, especially in the earlier part of the fight, the earlier end of the fight. He gave rounds away, trying to, stand on the ropes and trying to counter off the ropes, right? And that's the problem right there. I feel like Jermell's recent fights where he won late stoppages, he won by late stoppages, it made him feel like, okay, you know what, no matter what, even if this guy's getting hit, if he's hitting me with some shots, I have enough power to sustain this and still withstand it and win in dominant fashion by knockout, right? He felt comfortable and relaxed in his power and saying, you know what, I got enough power to hurt this dude and drop him, So even if he hit me with these shots, you know what I mean, I'm gonna counter him eventually and hurt him. He did counter him earlier in the fight and hurt him, but again, it wasn't enough to drop Castano. Castano got hurt, but he still was staying up on his toes. He was wobbly, but he stayed up on his feet. In the next round after that, he came right back. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give credit to Castano, right? But like I said, when you have a lot of late round stoppages, like Jermell Charlo's been having, you often think your power is enough to get you out of trouble. Get you out of trouble and allow you to weather the storm. And in some cases, it really is. I've seen it with Deontay Wilder, right? I've seen Wilder be in trouble, or he get hit with shots and, you know, being in deep waters at times against Luis Ortiz. I've seen him get outboxed by several guys. But Deontay Wilder's power, he punches like a damn mule, like a mule kick. You know what I mean? So he was always able to close the show majority of the time outside of Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? And I think because Tyson Fury is just a taller guy, and Tyson Fury know how to roll with the punches as well. But yeah, Deontay Wilder always relied on the power to say, you know what, I'm gonna give some rounds away, but I'm gonna finish this dude. Jermell Charlo, while he has power, does not have the same exact power that Deontay Wilder has. So at times it could be troubling. And Castano just was tough as hell, man. Like I said, I feel like Jermell left Castano off the hook when he had him hurt. And I'm like, yo, like, come on, man. Like, you can't, when you got a guy hurt like this, and you're seeing how tough this dude is, it's not an easy fight. And I feel like Jermell recognized that, because even in the end of the fight, it was seeming, I'm like, man, is he tired? But I felt like Jermell was getting frustrated at the fact that he couldn't drop him. You know what I mean? He couldn't drop him. Dude was hitting him with shots, and he couldn't drop him. And some would wonder, because I also feel like Jermell was throwing the same punches all throughout the fight, and he had to learn how to mix up his attack. He was throwing the same punches so much that Brian Castano caught on to it, and that's when he started to have success. Caught on to it, right? And I'm like, yo, when he throw the left hook, follow it over the top with the right. But I felt like Jermell at times was hesitant because he felt the power of Castano. He got it buckled a little bit. He got buckled. His knees got buckled, and I felt like he was weary of getting clipped. So he didn't want to come in with that right hand. But sometimes in boxing, you got to take some to give some. I feel like Jermell has a great chin, for sure. Because even when he got his knees buckled, he stayed up on his feet. But you got to take some to give some, especially with a dude like this. And I'm going to say this too. The whole time I'm watching this fight, I say, you know what? Boxing is really going to miss Floyd Mayweather Jr. severely. Now, y'all know I clown Floyd a lot, calling him a coon and stuff, for a lot of the stuff he said about black folks and black people movement and black people's movement to equality and social justice. And he said a lot of coon type stuff, a lot of buck dancing type stuff he said. But as a fighter, the man was absolutely unique. Absolutely, like he was one of one. I'm watching this fight and I'm saying Floyd Mayweather would have dismantled Castano after 3 rounds. He would have figured him out and got him the hell up out, or he not get him out of there, but he would have easily won those last 9 rounds for sure. After the first 3, you know what I mean, you're gonna collect the data. Floyd collect the data, and he's gonna be able to figure you out and get you out of there or get you in trouble. You know what I mean, and win the fight easily. I feel like Castano was tough, but it was times like I'm gonna say this. I'd rather have seen Jermell just box, jab, box, and move all night. I mean, no, of course, it's appeasing to the boxing fans to see a fan-friendly fight like that for sure. But as a Jermell Charlo fan, I'd rather him just box, jab, box, move all night rather than to just wait on the ropes and wait for a counter. That's dangerous. You know what I mean? That's dangerous, and he saw it at several times in the fight. Now, I will say, Jermell hurt him, Castano, several times without question, and that was enough to win those rounds at the end. Jermell started adding up, you know what I mean? Started adding up those rounds, and I feel like the fire in him started to awaken. It started to awaken when he felt like, hold on, this shit getting out of reach. I gotta get these rounds. I gotta get it in. I gotta get it in. And so even I'm like, is he tired or whatever? He started, my uncle said too, is he tired? I'm like, I think he getting frustrated as well, right? But he stayed with it. And he was able to win those last few rounds. However, Derrick James told him to go for the knockout, and I feel like he didn't press that in that 12th round. So I'm wondering, damn, was he gassed? Was he gassed trying to keep up with the punch output of a Brian Castano? Now, I've seen Jermell have to throw a lot of punches against Tony Harrison. right? And I've seen him have to do that, and he was able to secure the victory by knockout. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't know. Is Jermell a high volume puncher, as high as a volume of puncher as Errol Spence, as we saw Errol Spence do in the Mikey Garcia fight? Does he gas out from when he throws a whole lot of punches like that? Now I've seen Jermell get outboxed. I feel like even when he fought Tony Harrison was winning that fight, but Tony Harrison doesn't have a chin. So he tried to hook with a hooker and got dropped several times in that fight, and that's Tony Harrison's problem. His chin is not, he doesn't have the best chin. I felt like Jason Rosario was winning that fight until the stoppage as well, right? So, and I think that Jermell has started to grow accustomed to that. Honestly, Jermell was a better boxer at first, in the earlier parts of his career when he was with Ronnie Shields, and then his power went to another level and he started to utilize it right with Derek James. But unfortunately, that may have hindered him a little bit because it made him comfortable relying on power to finish the job and get the job done instead of winning the rounds. Now, Deontay Wilder has to do that in his case because he's not a boxer, right? He's a brawler. He can box because if he couldn't box, he wouldn't have medaled in the Olympics. But he's not a pure natural boxer like Jermell Charlo is. So Deontay got to use that power to get dudes out of there. And I think at this point in Deontay's career, you can't just make Deontay Wilder a boxer overnight. It has to come through several fights, several training camps, so on and so forth, right? But I think Deontay's been looking good with Malik Scott, right? But Jermell, on the other hand, he can box. So go to boxing. If you feel like you're losing the rounds, losing the fight, go box him then. Go box him and win those rounds and collect that data and win those rounds. Don't just try to wait on the ropes and wait for a counter while you're getting hit. You know what I mean? Because you can box. You can box. So you can get the job done. You know what I mean? I feel like Jermell gave a lot of rounds away just leaning on the ropes, getting hit with tough shots, waiting for a counter. That's not how you secure the victory, y'all. Honestly, I'm hoping for a rematch in this fight, and I think this fight was exciting enough, it was very exciting enough to maybe make this a pay-per-view fight, honestly. Whether people want to pay for it or not, I think that it garnered enough entertainment. It showed enough back and forth action for people to say, you know what, we need to make this a pay-per-view type fight for real. Like, I really think it was really an exciting enough fight for people to say, you know what, I would pay to see that. Not everybody. Now, some people, of course, everybody want to watch it for free on Showtime. But I mean, I think that the people thinking like, hold on, man, we can make this a pay-per-view fight for real. So I think it could be a pay-per-view fight. Honestly, though, after the fight, when they was interviewing Jermell Charlo, I'm going to say this, as a Jermell Charlo fan, Jermell didn't seem too eager to want to get back in there with Castano. He didn't seem too eager to get back in there with him. Now, you know, I really want Jermell to achieve undisputed. It's a great feat, a great accomplishment. Castano wants that rematch for sure, but he got to fight a different fight when in the rematch. Once again, he got to fight a different fight in that rematch and make the fight easier for himself. Now, it's easier said than done because Castano is not going to want to let him make it easy. But yeah, I'm looking at Jermell's body language and how he's responding. I don't know if he wants that fight just yet. I don't know. But I think he should. Go for the fight. Try to be historic and be great. Whatever happens, if you lose, you lose, whatever. But go for it. Go for it again, man. I think that him and Derek James can get back in camp, see what the mistakes were, what he did wrong, correct them, and come back and put on a better showing the next time around in the rematch. Derek James was excellent in this fight, telling Jermell, and I love when trainers are truthful with their fighters. Don't tell him what he want to hear. Tell him the truth. Jermell, get your ass off the ropes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Follow up the left hook with the right hand. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Get in there. And also telling him he needed a KO. Right? Now, whether people believe he needed a knockout to win or not, you got to keep your fighter aggressive. And that was the mindset of Derek James, telling him, hey, you got to be aggressive, man. But I really believe Derek James felt that Jermell Charlo needed a knockout. Because he did. In all honesty, he really, really needed a knockout to win that fight. Because I feel like even when if he won, when he was winning those rounds at the end, I said Jermell gonna get a draw. I was agreeing with Steve Farhood's scorecard. I was agreeing with Steve Farhood's scorecard, and I'm saying that was right to me. I'm like, yeah, Castano was winning them rounds early, and then early towards in the middle, and then Charlo at some point, I forgot what round it was. Golly, I forgot what round it was. But anyway, at the end of the fight, Charlo was winning enough rounds to even up the scorecards. And by the 12th round, he won that 12th round. It was enough for a draw. Enough for a draw. But not enough for him to win that fight. You know what I mean? Some people feel like Brian Castano won. And I'm not going to jump and be pissed and angry about it if you feel like he won. Because it was a it was a draw. But it was some swing rounds in there. To me, it was a draw to me. But it was some swing rounds in there where you could have gave Castano an edge. Maybe you saw something I didn't see, and you could have gave him the edge. But I felt like it was a draw. It was enough for Jermell to get a draw, but not enough for him to get a win at all. Hell no. And I really even feel like Errol Spence felt, of course he's going to ride with his boy. Like I would ride with mine all the way through. But Errol didn't want to say the wrong things about what Jermell should have done, what he shouldn't have done in the fight. So he said, talk to him. There go the coach right there, talk to him. Because he didn't want to step on no toes and come across as slighting Jermell in any type of way. But he knows what Jermell should have done to win that fight. He knows what Jermell was doing wrong. You know what I mean? So he passed it off to say, hey, look, talk to Derrick James. But yeah, man, I want to see Jermell get back in there, though, and try to go for something and be great. And go for Undisputed again, man. Get that rematch in there. Figure out what you did wrong. Come back and fight another day and secure the win. A lot of people, though, are saying that Charlo got exposed. Some people are very happy Charlo didn't get the win, got the draw. Some people feel like it was highway robbery. So now that scorecard again, 111, 117. That's some bullshit. That's some shenanigans right there now. But I feel like Jermell did enough to secure the draw. For sure. I feel like he did enough to secure the draw. But no, not enough to secure the win. In order for him to get that win, he needed like 2 knockdowns. A knockdown or 2. Or he needed a knockout. For sure. In that 12th round to try to secure the win. He needed a 10-8 round, 10-7 round to get the victory, in my opinion, man. But great fight. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Look, man, I had a great time watching that fight. I had my son on my lap. I'm getting him in boxing mode like my uncles used to give me. Great fight, but I feel like Jermell, he did enough to get the